Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to tell you about this podcast. It's called The DK Project, but it's really The Darren Show. The DK Project is a radio show, but without the radio. So sit back, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
Let's go!
Welcome back to the DK Project. Today we got Bill Foster zooming in. Hold on, let me adjust my cowboy hat and my tobacco. This guy is a bona fide cowboy, and you'll know as soon as you hear him. He is a retired school principal, I believe, who has gotten into the movie business. He's gotten into the vineyard business. His current movie is called Showdown on the Brazos, Brazos. And they're just wrapping it up, but he's been in a bunch of stuff. He's really got a great story and was fun to chat with. His audio out there in the middle of the Ponderosa was not as great as we like to have here on the DK Project, but we got through it. I cut it up, cleaned it up, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. So hopefully everybody's having a great 4th of July weekend, and now you got something to listen to. So enjoy the DK Project.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the DK Project. Zooming in with us today, Mr. Bill Foster. He is a movie maker? What do they call that? A writer? Are you the writer? Producer, director, writer, the whole bit. And he's got a vineyard in the great state of Texas, y'all.
That's right.
Tell me about it. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Spent a few hours at the vineyard this morning and tried to get as much done as I could, and came back in and worked around the house a little bit. And now trying to do a little computer work.
Walk me through a day in the vineyard. Walk me through that. What exactly does the day in the vineyard entail? So is this something you took from raw earth to? Oh, yeah. So there was nothing there?
There was nothing there. I mean, it was just a brush fence row and it had been sitting there for years with nothing on it. And so we had to build a high fence, 8-foot fence all the way around it. It's 34 acres. And that keeps the deer and the hogs out because they would eat the vines down to nothing. And so we've, built a lot of interior fences and the infrastructure for the vineyard. And we've got 7,000 plants now. Our first crop on 1,100 plants will be this fall.
Oh,
but
man.
a typical day would be you start out just like starting the water, checking the water and irrigation. And then you've got your choice of whether you're going to be putting fertilizer out, killing weeds, spraying for bugs, tying plants up that's blown over the day before, different things like that. And, there's just lots of miles in between.
How long have we been waiting on this first crop? How long of a process has this been?
3 years.
Oh, my God.
It takes 3 years to get your first crop.
3 years of pissing money away and you got nothing?
Yep, that's right. And it'll be a small crop this year and, probably 1,000 pounds. And then next year on that 1 acre, we'll probably make 2 or 3 tons and it'll eventually make 4 tons per acre.
Wow. How much wine do you get out of a ton?
2 pounds per bottle of wine. 2 pounds of grapes makes a bottle of wine. So 1,000 pounds make you 500 bottles of wine.
Whew, man.
So if I don't make any money, I'll just drink myself down.
Yeah, that makes it a lot easier. What made you think of Texas? Is that a big? That's not wine country, is it? Texas?
It's getting there. Around Fredericksburg, there's a lot. They're scattered around this area. And I was actually elk hunting. I just retired, and we own 12 acres at a different location. And we're always trying to find something to put on 6 acres of it, some kind of small crop to make some money on rather than just sitting in there.
Yeah.
And I was elk hunting, and one of the hunters was talking about his brother has a winery and couldn't find enough grapes. And, bells started going off and started doing the planting phase, and turned out the water that we had there at the 12 acres was not good enough for a vineyard. And so we sold it, bought this other place, and because it's got great water. And, we went from 7 gallons a minute in a water well to 200 gallons a minute. So the water is plenty. Yeah, we got plenty. I can knock you down with the water coming out of the faucet nearly.
Unless you're doing a vineyard or you're putting out fires.
Yeah, we just started from scratch. We put 1 acre in, and then last year, 2 years ago, put another acre in, and this year we put in 5 more acres, so 5,000 more plants.
Wow, that's
and it wasn't
crazy.
supposed to be that way. We were supposed to put 1,000 a year in, and one of our nurseries was kind enough not to send us our plants for 3 years. It still hadn't got them, and we paid for them. So we're fixing to have a little lawyer to lawyer talk.
Oh, jeez. It's always
and so
something.
We went ahead and did a replacement order, and they all, of course, came in this year. So, but we got them all in the ground now. So that's the hardest part, is getting them all in the ground.
Wow. I've been out to Napa and toured around a little bit. I'm not a big wine drinker, so it's not as interesting to me as others, but wine is a hot ticket right now. I think it's just about as big as the craft breweries are. They've blown up.
Exactly. And we're in the process of getting a web page and Facebook page built for us, and fix to start trying. We got to go through the Texas Alcohol Board to get licensed so we can sell the wine. And at first we were just going to sell the grapes. And when I started putting a pencil to it, and there was such a demand, people coming, us not going to them, but they're coming to us saying, I want to buy your wine. It doesn't take, I've nearly got a doctorate, but it doesn't take that to figure that out. And so when your profit's a lot bigger on the bottle of wine versus mass grapes, you start trying to figure all this in. So that's what we're doing right now.
Man, that's cool. So when do you think you'll be full production then? Next year?
3 now full production will be a couple of years from now, because next year we'll have 2 acres producing, and then the next year the rest of them be producing. So in about 3 years we'll have 7 acres rocking and rolling.
Wow.
Which will be about 28 tons of grapes. Let's see, not 28 tons. I'm sorry, 28,000 pounds of tons.
Okay.
Tons of grapes. Yeah, 28,000 pounds of grapes.
Do they have?
That's a lot of grapes.
Yeah, that's a lot of grapes. What kind of wine are you producing then?
It's all red dry wine. We've got a Tannat, which is going to be the crop that comes off this year.
What the hell is it?
Which is a fairly new breed.
What's a Tannat? I don't know.
Tannat?
Yeah.
Or Suzal.
Either.
Suzal is just another variety. It's a Portuguese wine, and it's kind of new to Texas. And so we're one of the few vineyards that has it. And then we've also got a Petit Verdot, Mourvèdre, and Alianico.
I don't even know what the hell that is. What is that?
They're all high-end wines.
Oh, well, of course. What does a bottle of Tatato go for?
None of them go to make Mad Dog or anything like that.
Right now, that stuff's selling. What is a bottle of this homebrew go for?
We're really doing product testing. I think anywhere from $35 to $45 a bottle.
Now we're making money. What's your background? Is this your background, or are you just a competitive drinker?
Well, I was an agriculture major. I grew up on a farm. I taught agriculture for 7 years, and then I got in, nearly starved to death as a teacher. So I got into administration and retired after 33 years. And so this is our retirement plan. And didn't know I was going to get into the movies, but that's kind of just happened. But the wineries, it's been learning one phase at a time. Of course, agriculture background, you're used to a lot of it and understand a lot of it a little quicker.
So anyway, you have got the vineyard now is not self-sufficient, but it's not taking as much time. So now you're dabbling in the movies. How walk me through this. Now, how does one then? Well, let's do a movie. Or did someone come to you and say, "Hey, you got beautiful property here. Let's make a movie"?
We filmed all over Texas.
Filming the movie?
It's a Western based in Texas, and it started out. One night I was laying in bed and looked on Facebook and saw a casting call for a TV series called The Sun, and it was a Western. And I thought, I'm going to go down to Austin, and I applied online, and I thought, I'm going to go down there anyway. And I went down there and stood in line with 1,500 other people. And I thought, if I get real lucky and get to walk down the street of this Western town, I'll be just ecstatic. Little did I know I'd get to be selected as a recurring featured extra. And got to work. That's where I got to work with the James Bond himself, Pierce Brosnan.
You go down to this casting call, and you get selected as a recurring extra.
Featured, not just the one walking down the street. You're going to be right there with the actors. And so I was in 5 episodes of The Sun, lots of camera time. And in fact, they couldn't use me the next year because that character was gone, and they saw me so much. Season 1 couldn't use me season 2, and I started applying for, just different movies from then on. And it seems like I'd always get cast as a featured extra, and got to work on with the Robert Rodriguez in a couple of movies. Got to work with the Coen brothers out in New Mexico. I learned a lot from them. If it'd been me and my brother filming, we'd have had 3 fist fights that day.
Yeah.
And those 2 guys worked great together,
Wow.
And, and there's one moment out there when I was with the Coen brothers. I don't know if you ever saw Wyatt Earp with Kevin Costner in it, but our holding room was his saloon. It was on the movie set. We were just across the street from where we were filming, so that was the saloon that they filmed Kevin Costner's Wyatt Earp in. And one morning I look out the swinging, the Old West swinging doors, and they're framed perfectly in that doorway were the 2 Coen brothers going over a script. And I told the guy with me, I said, man, nowhere but America, because 2 common everyday guys be able to be here and work with the Hollywood elite like that, that's just the gifted guys, award-winning directors. And I learned a lot from them. And, you do a lot of independents, and I was a writer before I was an actor. And some independents are really good, and some independents are really unorganized. And so I kept saying, no, if I do one, I'm not going to do it this way. And then I thought, well, I'm going to make a trailer with 3 or 4 actors. And that quickly went out the window when people started reading my script. And now we've got over 250 actors. We've got a full camera crew, and it's just ballooned in something I've never would have thought. We've got distribution banging on our door, 4 or 5 companies trying to get distribution.
Wow. What's the name of the picture? Showdown on the Brasses. What's the?
Yes, it's a Western based in 1887. The basis of it is there's 2 Texas Rangers. One of them has quit being a Texas Ranger because his family was slaughtered by outlaws and he was left for dead, but he survived, so he quit being a Texas Ranger. And then he got talked into going back and being a Texas Ranger because he gets to go after the outlaws that killed his family. And so, as he says in one line, vengeance and law are riding the same horse. Yeah. And so he goes in and infiltrates the outlaws gang, and then they end up having a big shootout. And the Brazos is a river that goes across Texas, kind of regional thing there. And I was wanting a different name, and I just stuck that on there. And then all of a sudden, it won some awards. I told him, well, I can't change the name now. So, But
yeah,
I did.
So
I did.
Did you write the whole
30
thing?
pages. Now it's about 120 pages long, 130 pages. As I would cast people, I would say, man, I want this person, but I don't have anywhere for them. Let's write a part for it, And so that's how it started growing and growing. And then we got what we thought was a picture lot, me and my film producer editor, and found somebody else that would go in there and do special effects and re-edit the whole thing. And we decided that we needed a few more scenes just to kind of help tell the story a little bit better. And so we filmed this past Saturday. We're going to film this coming Saturday, and then a full weekend in July, and then we'll be wrapped for good.
Wow.
Full feature, hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes.
Will it be on the big screen, or is it going out?
The distribution companies right now, they're all talking to, right now the big screen is really dying. So they're really all talking about, Amazon Prime. They're talking Netflix, international sales, Germany's and overseas love Westerns. They can't get enough of them. And somebody told me here a while back, The Shootist, back in the 70s, John Wayne, his last movie was just released in China. Yeah. And they think it's a brand new movie, So, yeah, hopefully mine doesn't have to wait that long to be released. But, there's just such a demand everywhere for the good old Westerns. And mine, I wrote it in the John Wayne, Jimmy Stewart fashion instead of blood and guts everywhere. I wrote it so the whole family could go watch it one Saturday afternoon and come out and say, hey, we spent 2 hours and enjoyed a movie and didn't have to think about daily problems and all that kind of good stuff. So, and If it's in Netflix,
Yeah.
I hope they gather around TV at night and watch it, or however it works, So my grandkids are in it, so I want it to be, PG, because there's going to be some blood and guts. Every Western has to have a little bit of that, but it's not overly bloody.
Yeah.
I didn't want, I've worked on some movies that just when they got in a fight or something, blood was just everywhere. I'm just like, no, we're not going to have that. We're going to have the old John Wayne style. You shoot them, they fall down.
Wow.
They don't have to have blood going everywhere to let you know that, hey, that cowboy's dead, he just got shot. So,
yeah.
We had.
Wow. How long did it take you to put the whole thing together?
We started filming last January, but we had a few setbacks. And then we thought, like I said, then it went to second round of editing, and we just now, then COVID hit and knocked us in the head for a while. And just now getting back, we were just about ready to wrap the first round of filming, and my videographer, he was 22. His mother passed away, so we had to take a couple of months off for that. And then I fooled around, broke my leg on set one day, so I had to take off 2 months for that. So my horse fell on me one day. Yeah, and
wow.
I went ahead. Slipped on the asphalt. I didn't know it was asphalt, but it's just dirt on top of asphalt. And he slipped and fell. It's my horse, but he slipped and fell and broke my leg, and I got back up on him and didn't tell anybody. So I went ahead and worked for another day and a half, directing and acting, and then had a plate put in Wednesday. Yeah, quit acting and directing on Sunday, and had a plate put in Wednesday.
Oh, there's no workman's comp if you're the owner of the company.
We're going to the bank.
Ouch.
And I told my videographer, I said, you don't know this, but I was nearly throwing up in that bank when I walked in there, because I had to walk upstairs without limping, Oh, it was hard.
You had to walk?
It was excruciating pain. And so I walked in that bank, and I just leaned against the wall, and they just look at me, and I was just like, I'm just tired. I wouldn't tell anybody. I was just like, oh, I'm about to throw up. It hurts so bad. And then the next day, we kept ice.
That's real cowboy stuff.
Yeah, you don't let it stop.
That's real cowboy stuff. That's like
I couldn't
real
stop
cowboy.
Because I had one actor from L.A. He wasn't coming back, and I had another actor from Iowa that wasn't coming back. So I had to finish. And so the next day's the big shootout. And so we had to. I just told him I pretend I got shot in the leg, and I hobbled around on that leg all day. And the doctor said he couldn't believe it didn't go through the skin when I was running on it. And I said, I sure am glad. That wouldn't have been good. At least we'd had it on camera.
That's so bad.
Yep.
Oh man.
One of the actors. One of the actors is the number one doctor in San Antonio, and he told me, he said, "Why don't you come down tomorrow morning early, and I'll slip you in the back, and we'll X-ray and see what's going on." I said, "Okay." I thought it was broke, but I really didn't know. I just knew it hurt like hell. And they wanted to do surgery right then. He said, "You can do surgery right now, or you can go home and do surgery, whichever one you want." And that was in San Antonio, 3 or 4 hours away. And I was like, well, I'm gonna go home, prop it up, and let my surgeon here do it, because my wife, she needed somewhere to stay, of course. So yeah, that was pretty tough.
Oh,
so
wow. That's quite the story. That adds to the movie that you're probably not going to forget.
Break a leg a little too literal, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say. Outstanding. So when do you think you'll be ready for release then? If you got a couple more filming weeks or
we're hoping,
weekends of filming, I should say.
October,
when do you think it'll actually be out?
Maybe first of the winter. We don't want to rush it. They're asking for another teaser. We've got an award-winning trailer on YouTube right now, and so the distribution's wanting to see another one, an updated one, and so we're trying to put one of those together, but we don't want to rush it, and we want to make sure it's the second round of edits, not the first round, to show them just how much better it's going to really be once we get through with it, and so we don't want to rush that, but we'll get that teaser to them. What I didn't know is that most distribution companies do not want you to release any trailers, teasers to the public, because they want to do that. And so we pulled back on that. We just left that one trailer out there, and we pulled back on making any more. And so that one teaser would go just out to the distribution companies, and then we'll have a private viewing as soon as we're done, and then hopefully it'll hit the big screen soon. and then we get started on the next project.
Man, that's exciting. That's exciting. I was just looking at your IMDb, man. You got a lot of credits on here. What which one of these was your favorite to work on?
With Pierce. That was, and part of that was because it was new, one of my first ones, and two, it's a really good Western. But I've just really enjoyed doing my own showdown, and I've really kind of slowed down on the extra work because I just don't have time for it anymore. With being, the producer, director, writer on mine, and then the Vineyard too. But it's like Steve told me, he said, you're kind of past that, and really I didn't realize I was until I sat down one night and I said, that I really am. I've got to keep working on my next project. We've got another short movie fixing to come out too. I mean, I'm downloading it right now to fix to send to my musician, and it's called I've Got Your Six, and it's one I wrote and directed and produced it. But every actor in it is a military veteran, and it's about a World War II veteran that escaped from the nursing home to go see. He read in the newspaper where they're fixing to turn his old farm into a shopping center. So he wanted to see it one last time. And so the veterans hear the deputy arguing with the sheriff on the radio about when to bring the man in. And all of a sudden, all the veterans start dropping what they're doing and go stand behind the old man. And they're not going to let the sheriff come and get him until he's ready to go. And so some voiceovers.
That's cool.
Yeah. So there's some voiceovers there that aren't military veterans, but everybody in the movie is a veteran. And that made a pretty good little twist to it, and it's pretty neat to have that in the can, as they could say. So we're just finished editing it yesterday.
Yeah.
Still just a little bit of touching here and there, but it's good enough to where the musician can take it and start piddling with it now and make some theme music, and we'll enter it in some film festivals and see what kind of awards we win there.
Very exciting stuff. How did you get into the acting piece? You just retired from teaching, and then you just said, I want to act. So you just filed the casting call, and that was it?
Well,
you make it sound so easy.
I guess I'm real ugly or something. They like to make me as one of the ugly background outlaws or something. But I always, when I was a principal or mainly superintendent, my wife and I helped the theater department a lot in the schools. And my son was a theater major. But even going back as far as second grade, the teacher went around the room, was asking all the kids what they wanted to be when they grew up. And I was going to say an actor because I loved, Elvis Presley and John Wayne. And the girl next to me said she wanted to be an actor, and everybody laughed at her. So I was like, well, I don't want everybody laughing at me. So when it got my turn, I told them I wanted to be a vet or something. I don't know. I made something up on the spot, So, and yeah. And, whenever I buy a DVD or the old VHS, first thing I do is
it's research and development. That's awesome. Do you then go scout all the places out first with her and then decide where you're going to put all this stuff together?
And have an idea. Sometimes we don't even have the idea. We're just looking. And sometimes it comes to us. Somebody will call us and say, hey, I've got this. I'd like for you to film over here. That happened when there's a doctor has some buffalo, and he wanted to see if I could get the buffalo in the movie. And I didn't have a script in there about buffalo, but I wrote one just so I could get those buffalo in the movie. So, we wrote, just a scene. So we could go out there and film around those buffalo. But we were the first movie ever made at a fort up in Graham, Texas. I didn't realize it, but I knew there's an old fort up there. So I went up there, and it was beautiful. So we arranged to be able to film there, and it turned out that we were the first movie ever to film there at that fort. Found other locations for different things, and so and some of them I'd acted out with before, but others, 90% of them, brand new. Just go out and find them, search and look, and call people and ask people. And I got a lot of friends, from school days, and they let me use a lot of their land, and so it's working out really well.
Boy, I guess you have dove directly into the deep end of the pool. I'm looking at the list for the current movie. Now, are these actors, or are they novice actors, or are you getting experienced people to help you out with these, or are we doing the friends of the friends of the friends?
All the above. A lot of the extras are friends of mine that I've worked with, friends of friends. And of course, a lot of them just answered the casting call I put on Facebook. It goes all the way to Jeff Davis, who's a superior actor out in LA. You know, he saw my script and answered my casting call, and I like to fell out of my chair. I was like, you want to be in my movie? And he's like, yeah, I love the script. I want to be there. So I cast him. And then a lot of them are coming out of Houston and Austin are actors. You know, they're all trying to get their first break, and they do a lot of acting, but they just hadn't made it big yet. And some of them just need that break. Some of them are so good that all they need is that one person to see them. And then, but, you know, like I said, I give a lot of people their first chance. You know, they're trying to break you in. I say, okay, I can use you as a extra. Sure. But, you know, one condition, you're going to have to furnish your own costume because we're out. You know, I don't have a big costume ward.
Oh, right. Are you funding this whole thing yourself? Who's paying for all this? There's a lot of actors in this movie.
Are doing it for free.
I was going to say there must be some pro bono work going on here.
That's the thing. If they really work hard for me, I don't forget who they are. And when my next movie, I'm not going to do it unless it's fully funded, and I'll involve them on that. You know, that way they'll get paid in the long run. And so, you know, like I said, I don't forget those that's helped me along the way. And a neat deal is there's about 4 or 5 of us that were outlaws on the Sun together, and we just kind of hit it off because we were there every day together. And I kept telling them, so guys, if I ever make my movie, y'all are going to all be in it together. And sure enough, I was able to cast them all back in there. So it's a pretty neat reunion to get them all back in there together.
Oh, wow. Come full circle. That's exciting. I think it's just a great story. How fun is that? Because everybody always wants to be on TV and the big screen and whatever. And you just walked right in. Although you kind of look like a cowboy. Like you got cowboy.
That's
like
what I've been all my life. You know, I just kind of came natural as far as the cowboy side of it. And you know, I've learned a lot. And as a superintendent, you know, I had 150 employees and a $11 million budget to work on, and you learn how to make everything stretch as far as it'll go, and you organizational skills and PR skills, all that comes into play. But, you know, I still learn a mass amount, but try to surround myself with people that know what they're doing. And that's the main thing. I try to listen a lot. You know, I've made my fair share of mistakes. If I started over now, I'd be a, you know, total different path, but it's worked out. You know, when I say start over, if I started filming the movie today, I'd go in a little different direction, but I didn't have all these good friends back then. You know, they've just come on board since then. I've met people in other movies. They've come in to help. Directors have come up to be my assistant directors and things of that nature. When we first started, man, we were all green. We were all like, hey, how you doing? What's your name? You know, you're my what? When they'd come to me and start saying, who's your DP number one? I was like, okay, stop. Tell me in English. What are you asking? You know?
Oh, wow. Yeah. And they were all cool with it, huh? They were happy to take you with and teach you. That's awesome. I wouldn't even know where to start.
And realize that, you know, I did know what I was doing as far as once we started directing the movie. So that helped a bunch. If I'd had a lot of dead time and been confused and not been able to make those decisions and been really, you know, scatterbrained, it would have been a fiasco from the day one. But luckily it's all worked out, and I just attribute that to having some great people around me. But you know, you got to listen, you got to learn, and my goal is not to have very much dead time, because, you know.
Do you do is your wife involved then? Does she act, or what is her role in this
behind the scenes? She does not want to be in front of the camera, but she's my second AD a lot. Or she's my production manager, which is, you know, gets everything ready when we get there, gets everybody organized. She was a junior high school teacher, so she's good at that. And so, you know, she's pointing different people different ways and getting them set up.
She's good at herding the cats.
And then while she's doing that, I'm getting the scene set up and telling my assistant what I need. And we're a pretty old machine.
Wow, that's cool. So you're not going to do any more just straight up acting? If the Coen brothers call you,
no,
you're
I'll
busy?
still do some acting. Somebody asked me the other day what I like better, acting or directing. I think it's 60-40 right now. 60 is directing, 40 the acting.
Okay.
Because when you're acting, you get to create that character, and you get to really do that one person. But when you're directing, you create all the characters, and so you don't paint that one picture. You paint the big picture of everybody there and tell the story. So it gives me a little more creativity to work with than just a one actor. But I still love being in front of the camera too.
Yeah.
And I've got a movie that I was in called Perdition that's fixing to come out, and I loved it because I was a bad guy and had to have an accent. And so starts out you don't know I'm a bad guy, but
oh really?
Do what?
How'd you find the accent? What did you do some coaching? How did you go down that road?
Well, they said I was an educated city person that had moved to the country, and so I just made one up, and the director loved it. So I just tried to talk educated like some of those people I've been around, because like I said, I nearly got my doctorate, and so I've got my master's degree in 60 hours plus or something like that. So I've been around a lot of those know-it-alls. so I just tried to act educated and talk like that, and smoked a cigar, and several cigars. I don't even smoke, but I thought that would be a good prop to work with my hands and kind of add some vile to my
flavor. I like that.
And,
that's cool.
Yeah, and
so you got a few movies here in pre-production. Looks like 2 of them, and then you got Reconciliation of Love and Revolvers completed. Is that you were just an actor in that one?
Yeah, I was just an extra in that one, and so I hadn't heard from that one in a long time. That was a trailer, and we worked on it one day, but that was a long time ago. I don't know how far they're coming into it, but then there's been several others that's completed. Perdition, I can't wait for it to come out, because that has a major role in that as third leading actor in that one, and so I saw it.
Who else is in that one?
Micah Lyons, his wife. I was trying to remember her first name, and she's a great actress. And then a couple of other actors in there too. And Mike Alvarado and John Depp Pruitt, they were in there. They were just getting started. Both Mike and John are in my movie. Then there's another one that's right there beside me. I can't think of his name right now, but he's the Subway spokesperson now. He went to audition. They made him Subway spokesperson. So you never know.
Oh,
yeah. He said,
"Move over, Jared."
Yeah, he walked in. They said, "Would you read this for us too?" Because I applied and I didn't get selected as an extra, and it's for a barbecue commercial, and those pay good. And so he said, sure. And he read a page. They said, okay, here's a different contract for you. You're now our spokesman at Subway commercial. And so he's like,
holy crap, that's a big ticket, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a big number.
Yeah. You just watch on TV, you'll see him. So he's funny.
Wow.
But it's good.
So you were looking to do a barbecue commercial that's on screen, not just voiceover?
Yeah, that's what he was going to do. And
wow.
So he ended up not without any lines, and all of a sudden they put him in front of everybody, and he's the spokesperson. I guess they didn't have one, and they just going to pick one out of the extras or something. I don't know. But he ended up hitting the big time.
Very cool. That's exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Man, you have done a lot in a short amount of time in the old acting, directing world. I didn't know that was even possible. I'm excited to see these films when they come out, to see just what caliber we're talking about, because there's not a lot of Westerns that come across my desk, not for any other reason other than I just don't there just haven't been any. But I think it's an interesting.
That's another reason I do them. I love them. That's my number one genre I love, and I write more novels about Westerns than anything. And I've got some ideas from some modern day, movies, but I love Westerns, and there's a resurgence trying to be right now. Tombstone, great Western movie, kind of hit that.
Yeah.
310 to Yuma.
That's the best, isn't it? Tombstone? That's the top of the chart, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's great. That's inspiration for all of us. I got to tour the Tombstone movie set here last fall, and it's just, even now you're just like, oh man, I'd love to film right here.
That was a good one. I was actually just in a little western town like that in Arizona. In is it just outside of Phoenix? They have a little western town. Is that what it is called?
This one is just outside Tucson, and we go out there, and right where Curly Bill tells them, "Well, bye." I got to sit right there, look around, and say, "Well, bye."
That's cool. Yeah. So you got to come up with these things from start to finish. And that process, I mean, the whole thing from writing it to directing it to putting it on film and getting it released, I mean, that is a monstrous task, right?
Yeah. If anybody told me how much work it was, I'd probably never started. I'm glad I did. I mean, it's kind of like you learn all steps of it. And now I can step back and just be the producer and director and writer of the next one and not have to be the wardrobe department. I don't have to be the call, send out the call sheets. I don't have to do all of that, stay up. I don't know how many times I've passed out on my keyboard at night, 2 a.m. working on call sheets or updating the script and wake up and, where am I,
Wow.
But yeah, and it's so, last Saturday, all I did was direct. I wasn't acting in it, and I just really loved it because it was so nice. Don't have to worry about that acting side. Now this Saturday, I've turned the directing over to my assistant director. I told him, I said, you can direct this one. I'll be the actor and you take over. And so that's kind of where we're working that one on this coming weekend. Then in July, I'll be on both sides of the camera again. We're going to do some pickup shots, some new scenes. And the movie 1917, how they do that. I don't know how long a shot they do in that one shot. We're going to replicate that in a we'd already had the idea before 1917 came out, but we're going to do something like that. It's going to probably be a one shot that's probably 2 minutes long, 3 minutes long of nonstop camera action, and which is really unheard of. And so we're going to try to do some of that. Yeah. And we'd like to try a lot of different things. The scene Saturday is between the governor and the senator. And, I had the camera to open the scene of him pouring a glass of whiskey. And all you can see is the glass being filled with whiskey, and then backed out to the governor. And I like to do things like that. I was laying on my belly at one Western set with the camera trying to get the right shot, laying on the floor.
Man.
So and there's things.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah. And there's things people don't realize. It seems like, like the saloon we filmed in at one location was not air conditioned, couldn't run a fan because, of course, it adhered on the sound, and it would get so hot the cameras would shut down. So we had to take a break, set the cameras outside in front of a fan for like 30 minutes, and they'd cool off, start running. We'd go back in, film for 30 minutes or an hour. Cameras would shut back down. We'd go back outside, cool off, So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, we've been blessed on the winter days when we filmed. It wasn't too cold, but man, in the summertime, we've had our heat. Woo. It's just.
Yeah, well, it gets damn hot. Are you filming in Texas right there by you this weekend?
Yep. Yeah, I was 3 hours away this weekend. It's coming weekend. So, I'll load my I've got a couple of horse trailers. I'm going to load one of them up full of props and horses and head that way Saturday morning.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and, we hit my mother was an antique collector, and so I have a lot of stuff that I didn't need. I got rid of a lot of things, but I kept all the farm stuff, which is really good. We can really decorate the barn up, and we hit some antique malls and picked up a few things I didn't have. And we're always going to garage sales. Oh, there's a hat that we can make that because you can always restyle them if they're too new looking, or a pair of boots for somebody, or something like that. You're always just trying to pick every sale you go to. What can we use this for? Here's an old book. You can't see the title of it, so we can use it as a background book or something like that. And
it's like a traveling roadshow, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, just about. You're right.
Load it up. I like it. Well, you need to put a part in there for an overweight, balding podcast host. I know those come in handy in your Western movies. I do some voiceover work too, so I'd love to get involved with something. That is fun stuff. It sounds like you're having a blast.
Oh, yeah.
You really are going to paint a picture to all my listeners that this is just an easy thing. Just walk on and
tell you what, if they want to get into the movie direction, what they need to do, and I'm not joking here, write them a script, 1 or 2 pages, just something fun, however they want to write it. Everybody's got an iPhone now, or a phone that will record on video.
Yeah, that's true.
And you go out there in your backyard and shoot it, and shoot all the different angles, try different things, and then put it together. There's all kinds of software you can chop and put it together. That's how I actually got started. And I filmed something with an iPhone. I chopped it up, put it together, made a little short video, and sent it off, and it won a contest. And so I'm like, oh, that's pretty neat. But do that. I mean, and then see if you like it, and you start getting better. And if you like the camera side of it, you start buying cheap cameras, and then building your inventory up. If you like the acting side, then you start trying to find the actors. If you want to direct, you just keep on directing. Everybody's got to start somewhere, and
yeah, right.
We didn't all start with $1 million to $10 million projects,
I've been through a few ugly ones lately where some of the budgets were next to nothing, and the end products were not great.
Yeah.
But it happens. You got to start somewhere. You got to get your feet wet. I know when I was a novice in the voiceover world, in the podcast world, I put some nice hot messes out there so that I could learn.
Yeah.
It just keeps on keeping on. But that's exciting. Well, we got to wrap this thing up, Bill. Man, you've been a great guest. We learned a lot, and we're going to check in with you from time to time. You got too many exciting things going on to not stay in touch. I think we got to get a grip on the wine when it comes out.
You bet.
And let the listeners know where they can find that.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. And how far from Austin are you?
Oh, about 2 hours. There's a lot of filming
is
done in Austin, and so it was, and I've just moved to Stephenville, and they film a lot in the Metroplex. I hadn't done much up there yet, but most of it's in Austin. In fact, they were doing a show, and they said, "Hey, you would have been perfect for that one up in Weatherford, but you're too far away." I was down in Austin, and I said, "Weatherford's 30 minutes away. Austin's 2.5 hours." Oh, we didn't know that. It's amazing what some people don't know the geography of the state. But anyway, there was a lot of filming going on in Austin and Metroplex up in Dallas-Fort Worth. But just got to keep your eyes and ears open. But main thing is Showdown on the Brazos right now.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I get down to Austin every once in a while, so I'll have to look you up and check out that wine. Are you going to do like a thing where people can tour and try the wine like they do out in Napa?
I don't know if we're going to have a tasting room, but once we have wine, we'll always have it out there. We've got a couple of cabins, and we'll always do a tour. If somebody shows up, we'll pour them a glass of wine. We'll always sit down and have a glass of wine with them. So,
hell yeah, I like it. Well, listen, Bill, you keep us updated when that movie's going to be out, and when the wine's coming out, and we'll check in with you from time to time, and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you so much.
And somewhere down the road, we'll keep the show going, man. I like it.
I appreciate it.
So listen, we will have everybody go and check your. Do you have a website yet for everything?
Not yet. We're in fact, I'm talking to some today about building one. But you can always check out my IMDb page and Showdown on Brazos IMDb, and then their Facebook pages, Bill Foster, and then also the Showdown on the Brazos Facebook page. We try to put some background pictures there and always tag them so they can kind of see what's going on back. And real quick, I was talking to somebody from Virginia, and they said, "Oh, we've been keeping up with you since y'all started back last January." What?
Really?
Oh yeah, we've loved all the background shots. We've been following Showdown on the Brazos since you started filming. We live in Virginia, and that's how big this thing has gotten. It's scary nearly, but it's a great deal, and I'm really enjoying it. And thank you everybody for helping.
For sure, that's the Showdown on the Brazos, Brazos.
Yes, sir.
For those because you have that Texas accent, sometimes it kind of draws together.
Well,
that's okay.
I don't have an accent. What are you talking?
No, not as far as you know. So, Bill, we thank you for zooming in today, and we'll check in with you somewhere down the line. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Talk to you later.
That's it. That's the end.
That's a wrap.
Read the shtick!
That's a wrap for today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and tell all your friends. If you'd like to reach out, you can use the studio line at 612-504-6500 or by email, thedkprojectpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, there's always social media at the DK Project Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.